The most arresting sight was the gold that shone as brightly as the day it was buried in the tomb, and above all the helmet that still covered the remains of the skull. It was of embossed gold and covered the forehead, with two parts jutting out over the cheeks. It resembled a wig, and the locks of hair that were in relief were made of very fine grooves that represented every strand of hair.
The gold helmet belonging to the king of Ur, Meskelamdug, that translates as youth who makes the country new, who lived in about 2400 BC, is certainly one of the most splendid objects found in the Royal Cemetery during the English excavations in 1927 to 28. This is how Sir Leonard Woolley, the man who discovered it, describes his find inside the tomb of the sovereign.
The tomb of Meskelamdug is part of one of the principal royal graves, but it was a communal grave and was distinguishable from countless others due to its richness. The first sign that we had found something was a copper spearhead that was protruding from the ground, and following it we discovered that it was fixed into a gold handle, beneath which there was a long gash left by the wooden javelin, by now reduced to dust, and the end of it was in a corner of the grave. Except for the size, which was larger than average, the grave was unremarkable, just a ditch in the ground, large enough to accommodate a wooden coffin, and that left enough room for offerings on three sides. At one end of the grave there were a number of spears lined up, with the tips head down, and between each stood clay and alabaster vases. Behind the body there was a disorderly pile that included a gold diadem, bracelets, loose beads, amulets, crescent-shaped earrings, and spiral rings made of gold wire. There was so little left of the skeleton that it was no longer sinister, but it was reduced to a few dusty brown traces that indicated where the body had lain, while one was mesmerized by the gold that shone as brightly as the day it was interred, and above all by the helmet that still covered the remains of the skull.